2019 bringing a lot of change to your tax return. Tax reform last year will change how much you get this year. Plus, the government shutdown not helping. Here to explain the changes and offer solutions is Andrew Wagner. He's a senior tax advisor with H&R Block. How are you, Andrew?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Let's talk about tax reform first. A lot of questions surrounding who benefits from last year's changes to the tax code. Who is going to be getting the larger refund when we get our returns back?
Well, so it's not necessarily that people are going to be getting larger refunds necessarily. It's the people who really planned well throughout the year and had the correct amount of withholding taken out.
Yep.
Most people are paying a less amount of taxes. They have a lower tax liability overall. So people who have the single filing status, the first $12,000 they make is tax-free because the standard deduction has increased. If you're a married couple filing joint, the first $24,000 is tax-free. People who have dependents under the age of 17, the child tax credit has gone from $1,000 up to $2,000, and the threshold for being able to claim it is up to $400,000 if you're married. So a lot of people just getting a lot of benefits, but still you have to have the correct amount withheld from your W-2 throughout the year in order to get that bigger refund.
No question. So is there something that could actually cause us to owe more money this year versus last year?
Potentially. So if you were, for example, like a truck driver, or you were someone who claimed a lot of out-of-pocket expenses and you have a traditional job, you're not self-employed, those expenses for the most part have been eliminated. You used to be able to claim those on your tax return as an itemized deduction. So those are unfortunately gone for most people this year. So if you're in that situation, you could wind up owing a little bit more. Or if you're just someone who didn't adjust your W-4, so back in January, February of 2018, if you didn't change the W-4 with your employer, and of course the W-4 is the form that's used to determine the amount of withholding from your job. If you didn't adjust that early in the year, you could potentially wind up owing this year.
Wow, interesting. The shutdown, I mean, no one knows who's working, who's not working. This whole thing's a mess. Could the shutdown result in tax refunds being delayed, possibly?
Well, for all intents and purposes, the IRS has said that they're going to continue to issue refunds as normal. And the IRS e-file open date is January 28th. So you can still electronically file your tax return now, and it'll just sit in queue until the 28th.
Gotcha.
But if you're someone who needs part of your refund now, if you file, you're going to get a refund, and you're not going to maybe get it till mid to late February. So for example, people who have the earned income tax credit or the additional child tax credit, the IRS is required to hold on to those refunds till late February.
Gotcha.
You can come into an H&R Block office, file your tax return, and apply for a refund advance. And that's a no interest, no fee loan. And if you're approved, you could get up to $3,000 that day.
That's fantastic. So there's a little bit of a gap insurance there, essentially, where you're like, listen, hold me over till I get this, and then I'll give it to you. We'll be good to go.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and the refund advance is it's no interest and no fees. There's no cost to it, so there's no harm, no foul. And if your refund's larger than that $3,000, you could potentially get up to that $3,000. And it's offered through H&R Block, but it's sponsored by Axis Bank.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Because there's a few less IRS people working, we shouldn't be trying to pull a fast one on the IRS this time of year because of the shutdown, should we? Probably not a good idea.
Not at all, not at all. But those furloughed IRS employees could potentially come into an H&R Block office and apply for the refund advance if they're, not geting their paychecks right now.
Aha! All right, there we go. So we have a little bit of a benefit here. There's definitely people here in Southern Nevada that are affected by the shutdown as well. We want to learn more about these refund advance options. Where do we go?
Yeah, you can go to hrblock.com/refundadvance, or you can call 1-800-HR-BLOCK and you can set up an appointment at the tax office near you. Awesome. Andrew, thank you so much, buddy. Yeah, thanks for having me. All right, let the tax pros at our sponsor H&R Block help you traverse a new tax world. You want to learn more, you go to hrblock.com/refundadvance.